How's it going, everyone? Got quite a lot to talk about in this video. Got a couple of updates on JRPGs. Very excited about the announcement of Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the First, the ground-up remake of the very first game within this era of Legend of Heroes titles. However, a little bit of uncertainty surrounding the game that I do want to talk about. Speaking of JRPGs, Metaphor Refantazio for the rest of this year, I would say is the most anticipated JRPG. EaseX is definitely in the mix as well, but Metaphor has gotten a sizable update. We'll talk that briefly. But right off the top, The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the First has been announced for Nintendo Switch. However, there has been a lot of question on whether or not the game is going to be coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC, and we do not know whether or not it's coming to those platforms. A Falcom representative has clarified the following platform and publishing related information to Gematsu that at least lets us speculate. Platforms: while the game has been announced for Nintendo Switch, a release on PlayStation and PC platforms is currently to be determined. There is a possibility that it could be released on these platforms, and if that decision is made, it'll be announced at a press release at a later date. That makes me believe it is going to be coming to those platforms. I'll speculate as to why it's only been announced on Nintendo Switch right now. As far as the Western publisher goes, which this is really interesting if you remember with the original Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, that was a game published by Xseed, not NIS America, who handles the publishing now. Xseed, I believe, has done the publishing for Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, the second game, the third game, all three Sky games, that is, and then also Cold Steel 1 and 2. NIS America took over the publishing when it came to Cold Steel 3, Cold Steel 4, the Crossbell arc, and obviously going forward, the Daybreak games are published by NIS America as well. However, as far as this game goes and a Western publisher, at this time, the Western publisher is to be determined, which is why our company was mentioned in the announcement. There's a possibility that we may handle the distribution ourselves, but if arrangements are made with a local publisher, they would be responsible for distribution instead. I'm a little bit surprised as far as how that information, the publishing agreement, that hasn't been ironed out. Although, if NIS America is going to be the ones publishing it, at that point you probably want to iron out the platform information, which the understanding that a lot of people and the speculation that a lot of people have as far as why it hasn't been announced for PlayStation and PC is similar to Metaphor Refantazio. If you remember when that game was revealed, it was initially revealed as only an Xbox title, and who knows what kind of agreement is made, but there is an idea that if you debut a game in a presentation that's going to be watched by a lot of people, like a Nintendo Direct, a Nintendo Partner Showcase, whatever you want to call it, there is value in that. However, Nintendo, to sign off on presenting your game, I don't know if they took some sort of monetary compensation or if they wanted this exclusivity window where the game is only promoted as a Nintendo Switch title. That is my speculation, and I do not have a complete understanding of the situation, but that is what a lot of people are speculating. And there is also the idea being thrown around that Nintendo could have paid for timed exclusivity, which obviously is also a possibility. However, then if I was Falcom, I wouldn't even be hinting at a PlayStation and PC release, saying that it's currently to be determined and saying that it's possible to be released on those platforms. If there's a time exclusivity window in place, you just focus on, hey, the game's gonna be on Nintendo Switch. We don't have plans currently to release the game on other platforms. If you are working out that kind of deal, which Trails in the Sky, this being the game that you worked out the timed exclusivity deal for, I get it that the game is the kickoff to the Trails universe, but that just seems a little strange to me. I do believe it's some sort of metaphor situation where the game had an agreement in place to be showcased at this Nintendo Partner Showcase, but in return, it's going to be promoted as a Nintendo Switch title for a little bit, and then it'll ultimately get announced for other platforms. It also happened with, I believe it was Persona 4 and Persona 3 when those games were announced to be coming to newer generation platforms. Don't quote me on that though, but we have seen instances in the past of situations like this as well. Speaking of Metaphor Refantazio, there has been an extensive information drop, an Atlas exclusive showcase video for Metaphor Refantazio, showcasing several locations players will visit as well, and they have been dropping a lot of information about the game. I do have to say that Metaphor has been a game that Atlas has done an incredibly great job, Sega as well has done an incredibly good job of just rolling out information in a consistent basis, almost to the level, and this might be seen as a little bit too negative, unnecessarily. Like, I feel like this game has been sold as it is. However, while I do advocate as a gaming nerd, so to speak, that, hey, I would like to be kept in the dark a little bit about a lot of the information, at the same time, this is a brand new IP from Atlas. It's a big budget JRPG. I can also understand from their vantage point, hey, let's promote this game. Let's get people to know what Metaphor is, and I can understand from their thought process. It's just like sometimes you've done enough to sell me personally on a game, and at that point I'm like, alright, yo, I'm good. I don't need to see more of the game, and you know, I don't think you need to promote it as much. I think Metaphor already has captured the JRPG audience's interest, but hey, more information isn't a bad thing when you're talking about a brand new IP. It is also a $70 game that's a new IP, so that's something to consider. The Atlas games going forward, at least these notable JRPG releases, look to be $70 titles, given that Persona 3 Reload was $70 as well. So, you know, that's just something you're gonna have to accept in not just Atlas releases in gaming in general, but I won't go in depth on every locale. If you want to check out the video for yourself and, you know, have an idea of some of the areas you're gonna visit, have at it. This is one of my most anticipated games for the rest of the year. I am just a little bit disappointed at that release date, October 11th. October in general, just like every year, is crazy again, but October 11th in particular, you have Metaphor and you have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero dropping on the same day. Now, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has the early access gimmick baked into it, so, you know, if you want to play it early, get a couple days and then jump into Metaphor. But for me, those are two of my most anticipated games for the entire year, and they are dropping on the same day. That day, for a couple of my buddies that are super into Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, I believe, is also dropping on that day. So, you know, there's quite a few titles dropping on October the 11th. But for me, as far as Metaphor or Dragon Ball, Metaphor as a JRPG fanatic, obviously gonna have my vested interest and gonna take up a bulk of my playtime. But that'll do it for me. Again, Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky first has only been announced for Nintendo Switch so far. I wouldn't take that too seriously. I do think this is a Metaphor situation where, you know, maybe there was an agreement worked out. Worst case scenario, it's a timed exclusive on the Nintendo Switch, which I think is super lame, but, you know, it is what it is. I hate timed exclusivity in general, but, you know, what can I do about that as far as that's concerned? Timed exclusivity is just one of the lamest practices in gaming. In certain situations, I can understand, you know, with PlayStation keeping their games on console before releasing them on PC, it's your games publishing, but when it's a deal worked out for timed exclusivity for 6 months or a year, I just absolutely dread that. Can we just get to 2025 and can we release Daybreak 2 and can we release this game on all platforms? Let's get more people playing Legend of Heroes, and I think this game can be such a vital part of that, and locking it out to people just completely contradicts the idea of what this game can be. This game should be an element to help people get into the franchise, but again, I'm getting on a diatribe. Hopefully, you know, that is me just being incredibly pessimistic, and that does not come to pass. In Metaphor Refantazio, quite a bit of an update on that ahead of its October 11th release. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.